Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye and this is my world. Okay, we're going to talk about daddy issues. This is a big topic because a lot of us women live our whole lives with daddy issues. And what it does, it shapes your relationships. The relationship that you have with your father shapes the relationships you have with men as you get older. It really does. It really does. Your father is your first love. Okay? Or the male figure in the home that is the substitute father. If there's a man in the house when you were growing up and you looked at him like a stepfather or father, this is the man that probably influenced you. Now, a girl's first love is her father. Is her father. Now, think about this. If you're a little girl, you love your father, but you don't get love back from your father, what happens? What happens? You do everything you can to please your father, but nothing works. Nothing works. So you grow up feeling your father does not love you. That's how you grow up. Your father doesn't love you. Whether your father is in the house when you're growing up or whether he's an absentee father. You're not getting love from him. And I was reading something the other day where when you're growing up, when you're young, when you're very young, there's a bond that should take place with you and your parent. And it's a short window where this bond is supposed to take place. And if it doesn't take place, then you've kind of missed the boat. You've kind of missed the boat. So now you're going to be looking for what you didn't get from your father. You're going to be looking for that in other men. In other men. Now, I'm speaking from experience. My father traveled a lot, and he wasn't home that much. But when he was home, he never showed me love. He never showed me love. So, and I did everything I thought to do to please him, but nothing ever did. Nothing ever did. And I spent the better part of my life trying to please my dad. Trying to please my dad until one day, and I was an adult by then. One day I decided I'm never going to be able to please him. Ever. Ever. Because I'm going to tell you, my dad was a narcissist. I didn't know anything about the narcissist. I didn't know anything about the narcissist. I didn't know that the narcissist is never pleased with anything. But here I am. Here I am, a young girl, trying everything to please my dad. Now, because my dad was a religious man, there were certain things that we were not able to do that was against the religion. There was a lot of things that was against the religion that you couldn't do. So that cut out a lot of activities, you know, that you could engage in, you know, because the religion spoke against it. Okay? So now the father is in charge of the family. He's the one that sets the tone. He sets the tone. He sets the tones of the do's and the don'ts. Okay? And when we were growing up, we were not allowed to be too joyous, to be too happy. I mean, things like that. And this is the funny thing. I think the narcissism and the religion kind of got in together, and that can be a dangerous and a poisonous situation for you when you got narcissism and religion all popped into one, and and your father is, you understand that's like something that is very difficult to overcome. The abuse that you suffer from something like that. So now you grow up and you got daddy issues. No, your dad doesn't love you. This is your first love. So now you're figuring when you go out and date a person, and if it doesn't work out, you're probably, in the back of your mind, you're probably figuring that it's something wrong with you. Is something wrong with you? Why men, you cannot find a man who loves you. Because when you have daddy issues, you're out there trying to find love that you didn't get from your dad. You understand? Women who have daddy issues are out there trying to find love that they didn't get from their dad. Now, a lot of women really get turned out because of that. That's why you see these prostitutes on the street. Daddy issues. Daddy issues. The pimp is the father and giving them the love that they didn't get when they were growing up from their own dads. Even if they knew their dads, whatever. They didn't get any love from the dad, but the pimp is there to give them the love, and he makes them feel like he's going to protect them. And, of course, he's already sexualized them. That's why they're bonded to the pimp. You see? And that's how that goes. That's why that goes. See, when you see these things, you really need to understand what's really going on. These poor women never got love from their fathers. That's why they're out there taking care of the pimp, because he's giving them the love they didn't get from their fathers. Now, what about regular women? Yeah, you know, you're not a prostitute, but you're out here looking for a man to give you love. I'm speaking from experience because I've been there. I've done that. Looking for a man. I spent the better part of my younger years looking for a man to give me love. That's why I made 2 terrible decisions when I married twice. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't have a model of a man of who I should have in my life. My dad was not a model for me. He was there. He did well for himself, but there was no love and caring and supporting, you see, and protection. None of that. I got none of that. And women with daddy issues, they probably didn't get any of that either. That's why they have these issues. What you were supposed to get from your dad, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. And so, you know, it just passed you by. So now you have an empty hole in here when it comes to men. Number one, you don't know how to pick a man. You don't know. If a good man comes up to you, you don't know him. You have no model. You have no pattern. You have nothing to go by. You have no guide of what a decent, good man is. You see? So if a man comes up and treats you the way that your father did, you'll probably be attracted to him because it's familiar. It's familiar. That's why women get stuck with men who beat them up. Maybe your father was violent to you growing up. Or maybe you saw your father being violent to your mother. So, in your mind, this is the model of a man. This is the model of a man. So now, when a man approaches you that wants to beat you up, you don't find that foreign because you've been raised in a situation like that. You're being raised in a situation like that. Now, if you are fortunate enough to have a loving father that protected you and took care of you and supported you in whatever your dreams were, but let you grow. He didn't smother you. He let you grow into your best self. Well, then, when you're ready to choose a mate, you have a good guy to choose from. You would choose a mate like your father. Now, women, remember this, your father is your first love. And the man you'll choose will be most likely like your father. When I was growing up, because I had such a strained relationship with my father, I used to say, I don't ever want to be with a man like my father. I used to say that. I used to say that. When I was growing up, I used to say that. And guess what? I kept running into men that had some characteristics of my father. I was attracted to those men. You see? I was attracted to it because it's familiar. It's what you know. It's all you know. Now, how do you get out of that? How you get off of that? How do you get off of it? When I realized that I was never, ever gonna get what I needed from my father, I went inside myself to look for what I needed. I started relying on myself and not looking for a man to fill that void. I started working on filling the void myself. You see? What other things? I started looking for my purpose in life. Putting all that energy into something more positive. Something more positive than a man. See, we are groomed to feel like we cannot make it unless we have a man in our lives. We are groomed that way. Even from little girls, we're groomed to take care of the babies. They give us a little doll and a little carriage to push the baby in. And, then they give us a little tiara for, when you're getting married and all that. You see yourself in a little white dress. You understand? We groomed. We're groomed to go this way. You see? But if you didn't have a good pattern as a father, and you pick somebody, you would probably, most likely, choose a man like your father. And then you wonder, why is it turning out like this? Why is it turning out like this? Because you chose your father. That's why. And, you know, something I want to say about asking the universe for something. I kind of hinted at it at my last video, but I want to make it plain. When you ask the universe for something, you know, like I used to say, I don't want a man like my father. Remember, when you ask the universe for something, don't use the word don't. Don't say don't or I do not or I won't or anything like that. Because the universe doesn't hear that. The universe doesn't hear those words. The universe only hears, I want a man like my father. It didn't hear, I don't. I don't. So you only think about the things that you want. See, this wisdom only came through meditation. Through meditation and raising my vibration so that I can understand what's really going on in this thing we call life. So when you ask for something in your life, don't say, I don't want that. Because the universe only hears that you want that. You only think about the things that you desire, not the things you don't desire. And that's the same thing with a man in your life. A man, think about the type of man you want, not the type of man you don't want. Not the type of man you don't want, only the type that you want. And maybe one thing you will need to do. You will need to forgive your father. If you feel like your father didn't measure up to you and he didn't feel that void for you, he didn't love you or whatever, you have to forgive your father. I forgave my father. I forgave my father because in my healing process, I understood that my father could only give what he had inside. You see, what he had inside. And what he had inside was how he was raised. How he was raised. And your father could only give you what he had inside. How he was raised. Unless he healed from stuff and then it was probably more positive energy that he can give you. If people have not healed from childhood wounds and baggage and all of that, they can only give that to you. They can only give it to you. And the thing about it is, see, religion clouds a lot of this because people feel like when they go and pray to their God, that all is forgiven and everything is fine, and when their families are going down the tube. Going down the tube. You see? Listen, ladies. Do not live your whole life in bitterness because of something that your father did. That's a waste of your life and a waste of energy. And it doesn't matter how old you are either, because I know some of you ladies have carried this your entire life. Something your dad did way back when you were a little girl, and you still mad about it. And you probably carried it through other relationships because you never resolved it. And if you're like me, my father's passed away. A lot of you women, I bet your father's gone. But you can still go inside yourself and heal it. And heal it. And you will feel better. You will feel better inside. You will feel that wound lift and leave you. If you meditate on it and ask the universe to heal you. That's all you got to do. And I know, I know some of the followers get all tripped up because I say the universe. Now, let me drop a little wisdom on you. I don't know if you're going to like it or not, but I'm going to tell you. Listen, I don't know if you realize it or not, but there are many gods in this universe. Many gods. And just because you say God, I don't know what God you're talking about. I don't know what God you're talking about. People, don't be, wake up. Wake up. There are many religions. Christianity is not the only religion. And it's not the only right religion. Don't be fooled by that. Most Christians were forced into this religion. You understand? So, be more open-minded. I find that a lot of people in the Christian religion are the most judgmental. They were crucified other religions. Crucify other religions. Listen, I say the universe because the universe, and I go by the laws of the universe. Now, you believe what you want to believe. I do not judge people. I am only here to share knowledge with you. And you got free will. It's really up to you to accept it or to reject it. To accept it or to reject it. And I'm only telling you things that have helped me to elevate my life. To elevate my life to happiness. To happiness. Out of misery. I've been there. I've been poor. I've been hurt. I've been disrespected. I have been taken advantage of. I have all the things that I talked to you about. I've gone through them personally. It's not that I went and read it in a book and, got a degree on it all. I lived it. I lived it. And that's why I share it with you. So that you can avoid the pitfalls of this life. And to enjoy your time here. So don't get tripped up by words or what you heard in church, and what you think you know. What you think you know. Okay? Listen, if the message resonates and feels good going down, why fight it? Why fight it? I would never tell you anything to harm you. Ever. Ever. I am about peace, happiness, knowledge, and wisdom. And that's what I want to portray to you. I want you to be strong and to enjoy your life. Now, this video is about daddy issues. Daddy issues. And a lot of us women have daddy issues only because the men have had issues. So a lot of them have not been, I was about to say perfect fathers. I don't want to say perfect, but the fathers that we needed growing up. Many of them just weren't the fathers that we needed growing up. And most times it's because they never got what they needed growing up. So they didn't have it to give it to us. Do you understand? So we need to heal. We need to heal. Start right now. We need to heal to stop that curse. You see? So that our sons can be better human beings. You see? At least we can give the love to our sons, and you know, maybe there's a man around and maybe there's not a man around. I raised my boys on my own. You know, there was no man around because there was no suitable man to raise my boys. So I raised them myself. They haven't killed anybody. They don't have babies all over the place. They're all educated and nice young men. And I had daddy issues. But I overcame them. I overcame them by going inside, loving myself, and not looking for validation from anyone. So, ladies, I know I came at you pretty hard this time, but I hope that I said something that can help someone. I hope that I said something, because your life doesn't have to be ruined just because you never got love from your dad. Love yourself and forgive your dad. He did the best he knew how to do. He did the best he knew how to do. But you love yourself. Pick up. Let's cut these bad habits out. So, ladies, thank you so much for supporting this video. And I don't want to leave the men out. I'm starting to say thank you for joining the family. So, I wish you all well and happiness. Keep the comments coming. I love reading them. And I wish you all well. And I hope to see you next time.